Hi everyone, it's Tequila from the Swift Current Branch Library, and because we had such a full class last week in our beading class, I want to actually do the demonstration of how to put your pouch together by video. I'm hoping that this will give a better visual, and while the video is playing, I can move around and assist people. So some of you have started your beading or are done your beading already on your pouch. So this is actually the top of mine, and eventually I will be putting this one on the back. But what I'm going to show you is actually how we stitch these pieces together. Now, assuming that you have your beautiful flower on the back, we will start with actually the fringe piece, which is this short piece here. And I'm going to move the camera down so that you can see my hands and the scissors. Okay. So this is your fringe here. You want to leave this much solid. And we're going to take the scissors and we're going to snip like this all the way up. Now, my camera is going to move around on me. Just try to make this a little better, maybe. Oh, man, okay. Alright. Okay. So this piece here, right here, will be solid. I'm going to cut up to that line. You want to cut your fringe first so that you know what direction you're putting it. I am gonna probably need to sharpen scissors. Okay. So this is what I have. And I can see us needing rotary cutters or sharper scissors next week. Now the next part is putting your wrong sides of your fabric together. So you want your right sides touching take and match this up. So this is what it looks like. Oops, not my leg. So this piece here is the bottom, and we'll be stitching along that. And then presumably you'll have your beaded flower here. So there. So I'm using this. This is called artificial sinew. And it actually will split. So we just kind of go like this. You can see it splitting. This is called a Glover's needle, so it's very sharp. So we're going to take our sinew, and we have to watch how the fibers cross. Make sure that we get it to split correctly. As you can see, I got a fiber. And around goes the camera again. Okay. So I'm splitting this sinew. And I'm actually not going to use too much. Cut off the end here. Yours will be on a little card that I'll give you. Wonder if I can split it again. The thinner the split, the easier it is to go through the eye of the needle. Hopefully, we will actually be able to use needle threaders with these needles. So there. You can double your thread, or you can use it single. I'm gonna tie a knot right in the middle, just like this. So I am going to stitch that green pouch together because I hope to get this done. This is on stiff felt, so I'll be attaching this to the green pouch. If you beaded right on your pouch, good for you. So this is my bottom, and I don't want the fringe to fall out. So I want to make sure that I've got it as lined up as I possibly can. So again, see the fringe goes up inside. So I'm going to hang on to it really. So this is the top, and your fringe is facing up. So now we're going to do what's called a whip stitch. So what I'm doing is I'm wiggling the Glover needle. Sometimes if it doesn't want to go through all 3 layers, you have to do 1 layer at a time. Just use the edge of the table to poke the needle through. So with your fringe, you don't want to sew this on the side. You just want the two pieces. All I want to do is kind of go along the bottom first to attach the fringe and make sure that it doesn't escape my pouch. So I'm bringing the thread up and over. So that's what it should look like. And then my next spot, I'm always coming from the back to the front facing me. Sometimes a little challenging getting these needles through. What I'm doing, I'm gonna show you. Okay, so here's the table, and I'm actually very carefully using the table as leverage, almost like you would use a thimble to get that needle through. Okay, so for this piece, I'm gonna stick my needle through it just to give it kind of like a little safety knot. And then that's what the stitch looks like. And then again, I'm wrapping around to the front, poke. This helps to, like if I were to put something small in this pouch, it helps, this stitch helps it to not fall through. And that's quite secure. Okay. If you beaded your flower, you definitely will have found that the pouch was resistant and kind of challenging to poke that needle through. I've been doing some research on other types of needles that may be better, as well as different types of thread. When I did this workshop in Maple Creek, my two aunties were there, and one auntie mentioned Fireline. It's about 6 pounds, I believe. So it's a type of fishing line that you can actually use for the beading, which will work just like beading thread, but doesn't fray and is a lot more resilient to breaking. My other auntie mentioned that in order to get the needle to slide through the leather better, which I haven't done yet, is use a bar of soap. So you would take a bar of soap and you would warm it up and rub your needle and your thread along the warm bar of soap, and that's supposed to help get your pieces in alignment. I'm gonna keep on poking this pouch. Oops. What you don't want to do is you don't want to pull so tight that your material puckers. So I'm kind of pulling it, like if you pull tight like that, you can see it puckering. So just kind of massage, stretch it out. You want nice straight lines. Looks almost like a little blanket stitch. I like the Glitter needle because they are hard, they don't bend, so they can take quite a bit of strain. And they are sharp, so they are actually punching a hole through the fabric. Okay, so I'm starting to run out of thread. I will do my best here. I'm gonna make a knot because I've run out of thread. So for those of you that sew, this is pretty easy. Just kind of weaving my needle in there. I'm going to snip this off. And then I will take my next strand of sinew and thread it and continue to the end. Oops, I guess I was doing double. Now almost only did single. There are other techniques of putting pouches together. You can use a punch, which would create holes, and every so many centimeters, and so you would just stitch through those holes. There's different little upholstery hammers that you can use to where you can, they look like a fork. You set them down and you hit them with a hammer. So you might try that if you have troubles getting your needle through. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually gonna tie it off just to make sure that the knot is good and strong. All right, so I had gotten a little bit interrupted when I was trying to record this video, and I'm trying to give you a better visual. So here's my fringe. I've got the bottom stitched. I'm going to take these corners that are closest to the side, here and here, and I want to make sure that they are tucked up away from these two pieces because I don't want to stitch this onto the side. So they have to be tucked in. Another thing that you can do is cut it off, but I like fringe all the way out to my piece. So I'm actually going to try to get this straight to do it like this. So see this piece, I'm pulling it in and bringing my edges together. If you have trouble getting your needle through, you can use an awl. I like to use the table, as long as it's not too slippery. So I probably will only do this one side, and then my video is going to be finished and edited. And remember, try not to pull too tight. So I will be running out of artificial sinew, and so eventually I will want to create a knot. This is really short to create a knot, so hmm. gonna cut my thread right here. This is just a trick I sometimes use when my thread is so short and I can't tie a knot, so I don't want this coming out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull one piece of this through, bring it here, stick it in, and then I would rethread my needle and finish stitching all the way up. So if we pretend that both sides are done, when I turn this inside out, my fringe would hang from the bottom, nice and secure. I have this piece, and then that side would be done, and then I would open it about here to attach my handle, which we will learn more about that in a few minutes.